Welcome to Joyfully Unstoppable, the podcast for women who are ready to lead boldly, live lightly, and reclaim their joy. Whether you're leading a team, a classroom, a boardroom, or your own big, beautiful life, I am so glad you found us. I'm your host, Becky Ham, leadership coach, speaker, and founder of Women Lead Well. After years of high-level leadership, I discovered that success doesn't have to come at the cost of your peace, your values, or your well-being. Each week, we'll explore what it means to lead with clarity, confidence, and authenticity, even in a world that tells you to hustle harder and prove your worth. You carry a lot. Let's help it feel lighter. Friends, fall is coming. Where we live in Virginia, the kids are already back in school. We have had Canada geese camped out in our front yard the past few days on their way south. A bit stressful to my husband because Canada geese leave a lot behind, and it's a little gross. But the season is changing, and I am mindful that 2025 has been a rough year for so many of the women I coach, particularly for women who used to serve in the federal government who lost their jobs as part of the federal restructuring. And it's additionally challenging. Many of the federal workers who lost their jobs receive severance packages that expire at the end of the fiscal year, which is a short 5 weeks away. Compounding that is that 2025 wasn't just tough for federal employees. Folks in tech, higher ed, other industries have all taken a hit this year with layoffs across a number of those sectors, making it even harder for people to find jobs because there are so many job seekers out there right now. And so I wanted us to spend some time today talking about joy. I know it's counterintuitive, but just ride the ride with me for a few minutes and see if you don't understand. I want us to talk about how we can find joy even in the midst of hardship. And we're going to start the conversation in neuroscience. So, as humans, this is phenomenal. Like, it blew my mind when I learned this. As humans, all of our sensory systems, our eyes, our ears, our touch, the functions in our body, all of our sensory systems receive about 11 million bits of information per second. Every second. Our brains can process about 10. So, 11 million bits of information per second. Our brains can deal with 10. The way we process that information is through what's called the reticular activating system, or RAS. This is that thing, that part of us that if I say red Honda Civics, next time you get out into the world and you're going down, you're going to see red Honda Civics. Why? Because I have now told you red Honda Civics. Your brain has picked up on red Honda Civics. So for the next couple of weeks, you're going to see a lot of red Honda Civics. Hi, social experiment, fun. DM me to let me know, but it's true, you will. So the reticular activating system, or RAS, focuses on the things that the mind thinks is important. And so it filters out, it mutes 10,999,990 bits of information each and every second to focus on the 10 that are most likely to keep us alive. And red Honda Civics. I'm so sorry, but so it goes. How does your brain decide? How does the reticular activating system decide which 10 will keep us alive, which 10 bits of information to focus on? Some of it is biological, right? And so elevated heart rate, you're probably going to notice that, right? Difficulty breathing, you're going to key in on. You might not key in on, my tooth is sore if it's been sore for 6 weeks, right? Your brain will filter that information out. Or this is a huge one, right? If you stub your toe and then break your arm, you're probably going to feel your arm hurting, not your toe. Why? Because the arm is a bigger deal in terms of your life and well-being than the toe is at that moment. If you hadn't broken your arm, you'd probably feel your toe, right? So some of it is biological, and some of it is what gets primed by where our brain has put its energy and focus in the past. This is why I'm saying red Honda, you're going to see a bunch of red Honda Civics. Why? Because I've primed your brain to look for them, to notice them when it sees them. Because again, 11 million bits of information per second. You already are seeing a lot of red Honda Civics. It's just your RAS has muted that so you don't notice that it's in your line of sight. You're going to notice it now. And this logic of the thing that you see what you expect to see, or you see what you have seen, this is the source of the confirmation bias. We see what we expect to see. Now let me bring it back to joy. If we expect to see joy, we will see joy. If we expect to see stress, we're going to find ourselves in a heap load of stress. Our objective circumstances might not change. But if we focus on joy with intention, for just little bits at a time, if we focus on joy with intention, then joy becomes more available to us because our brain isn't muting it. The reticular activating system, our RAS, isn't turning the volume down on joy to turn the volume up on something else. We have signaled to our brains that we want to see more joy, and so our brain shows us more of it. Think of your brain as like the super sweet Labrador retriever. You say, hey, go fetch, it will go fetch. But my friend, this is my point. You say, oh, this is awful. Oh, I'm never going to get another job. The market is so bad. Your brain is going to send you lots of confirming information. And if you tell your brain, well, it sucks that I'm out of work right now, but do you know this one little thing I'm going to do today? I'm going to find the joy in the moment. Then your brain is going to bring you more of that. And I want to be super clear here. I wanted to take a moment and clarify. This is not some like woo-woo manifestation, good vibes only nonsense. That ain't me. Two, that's no, right? If you have listened to this podcast for any length of time, you will know that I am the first person to tell you to always feel your actual feelings, even when those feelings are big and scary, right? I'm going to tell you to feel your feelings after you regulate your nervous system, but this is not good vibes only mumbo jumbo. It is simply neuroscience. Our brains cannot handle all the sensory data they receive in any moment, and so our brains filter. The beauty is that we have the ability to shape that filter. So, if you're looking for a job, you will still be looking for a job. If you have a toxic boss, for the moment, you're still going to have a toxic boss. And I'm sorry, that sucks. But you can still experience joy in the midst of those circumstances. And friend, like, why wouldn't you? You are not going to be unemployed forever. That is just a fact. And you won't work for a toxic boss forever either. So why would you let a transitory set of circumstances drag you down? Especially when it is really pretty easy to train your brain to bring you more joy. So let's get into it. Here are 4 actions you can take this week to find joy without your circumstances changing one bit. Step 1, or thing 1, I want you to release the pressure to, quote unquote, fix yourself first. Setbacks often come with a side dish of shame, right? You think to yourself, I should be grateful. I should be able to handle this. I just need to get through this season and then I can rest, right? I just need to send 100 applications a day and that, but a week, right? 100 applications a week. People do it. And then I can focus on the good. But those beliefs, they only tighten the trap. Why? Because you're putting your focus and your energy on the negative, on the absence of joy. You're telling your brain, bring me more of the yuckiness, right? Because that's where you're putting your attention. And there is this myth, it is a lie, but it is one of the most damaging myths that we carry, particularly as women, is this idea that we have to be like fully healed, or we have to have everything together before we're allowed to feel good, right? We treat joy like it's a reward for some kind of an accomplishment. And what I'm going to say is that joy is not a reward. Joy is a resource. Joy is a source of energy and goodness that allows us to sustain through difficult periods and allows us to sustain through wonderful periods, because you can wear yourself out during a beautiful season of life too. But joy is one of those resources that helps build us up and keep us sustained and keep our lives sustainable regardless of the circumstances. And joy especially when it's experienced in these small, frequent doses that we're going to talk about here in a second, it can actually buffer the effect of stress. So it can help with your resilience through the difficult periods. And there's a psychologist, Barbara Fredrickson. She has what's called the broaden and build theory that tells us that positive emotions like joy, they don't just feel good. They do, but they don't only feel good. They also expand our cognitive capacity. This increases our resilience. It promotes our long-term well-being. So in other words, choosing joy isn't just selfish, and it's not something you do after you've already gotten what you want. Choosing joy is strategic. It's the oxygen mask that helps you stay grounded while you navigate leadership, uncertainty in your life, complexity, challenges, difficulties, setbacks. So instead of waiting until everything is perfect, you just allow yourself a little glimmer of joy today. Because focusing on joy, especially the small joys, when you do that, you're training that reticular activating system. You're training your brain to go find you more of it. And again, dutiful Labrador retriever, man, that brain's going to go out and it's going to do it. And then you're on autopilot, and that's beautiful. So, step 1, you give yourself permission, joy now, not joy later. Joy is in the today. Step 2, you find your joy in the micro moments. You do not need a week-long vacation or a 6-month sabbatical to find joy. And now, please, do I want that for you? Yes, of course I do. Go find yourself get a 6-month sabbatical, go take a 2-week vacation to someplace warm and relaxing, or cold and relaxing if you like to ski. Whatever, follow your bliss. But you don't wait for joy until those moments. Sometimes, all the time, what your nervous system really needs is that 3-minute reset. Why? Because those micro moments is where you signal to your nervous system, to your body, you are safe right now, here, in this moment. You are okay. Maybe I don't like the circumstances, but right now, in this moment, we are okay. Neuroscientists call these glimmers. They are small cues of safety that regulate the nervous system. They spark calm and connection. These moments help counteract the fight, flight, freeze, fawn response, and they slowly build our brain to have the capacity it needs for joy. Brings our brain online for joy. So here are some examples of glimmers. Again, this is highly individualized to the person. I'm just giving you a few off the top of my head. You sit on your porch with your morning cup of coffee and you let the sunshine, the morning light into your eyeballs, right? You just sit there and drink your coffee and watch the world go by. Watch those Canada geese out there defiling your front yard. That might be a glimmer of joy to me. I don't think it's a glimmer of joy to my husband. The beauty of getting some of that morning light is that the melatonin in your eyes, I'm like looking at my eyes and pointing, that getting that sunlight into your eyeballs helps with your melatonin production to help you go to sleep at night. It's a win-win, particularly for us perimenopausal ladies. Another glimmer, you listen to some music that you feel, right? Maybe it's attached to a memory, maybe there's something about the cadence, but that music that stirs something in you, beautiful, right? Light a candle. I love this. I light a candle with my coaching calls. And so as I'm coaching women, I have this little candle that burns for about an hour and it just burns down. And it's just this, for me, just this beautiful marker of the session. And there's something that is so spiritual, I don't know, about that candle that it keeps me anchored in the present. It keeps me in that conversation and the sanctity of that coaching call. A glimmer might be sharing a laugh with someone you trust, sending a silly meme to a friend and then you get one back, right? The moments themselves are not life-changing moments. They're everyday moments, but they bring you joy. They bring you back to the present. They signal safety to your body, to your nervous system. They are not throwaway moments. They are the fuel. This is how you find joy in the middle of a difficult season, by anchoring into those small acts of presence that reconnect you with yourself, reconnect you with safety and calm even when everything feels heavy. Now, this is number 3. Reconnect with what brings you to life, what lights you up. Stress doesn't just empty your energy tank, it can erase your sense of self. You can stop asking, what brings me joy? Because you're spending so much time asking, what do others need from me right now? What do I need to do to fix this situation? You externalize your sense of self, and you can alienate yourself from yourself. So, a helpful way to start reconnecting with what brings you to life is to revisit your core values, especially if there's some that you have maybe unintentionally set aside. Research shows that reconnecting with your values, and that might be creativity, it might be connection, it might be autonomy, whatever matters most to you. When you can reconnect with those values, you increase your resilience and you decrease the emotional impact of stress because you're anchored into something of meaning for you. And so quickly, I'm going to give you 3 reflection questions to explore. Question 1, when do I feel most like myself? Question 2, what activities or environments give me energy instead of draining it? What are my energy engines? And then what are my energy vampires, right? You want more engines in your life than you've got vampires. And then question number 3, what did I love doing before life got so difficult? This exercise is not about reinventing yourself. It's about remembering who you are, the version of you that loved cooking, who lost track of time when you would write, who felt deeply fulfilled mentoring others. That woman is still there. Finding your joy starts with listening to her voice again. And if it would help, I've got a free values clarification exercise that will let you get crystal clear on your values so you can reconnect more deeply with those activities that light you up. And again, the more energy you put to that, the more you're training your brain to focus there and bring you more of that goodness every day, even when you're not intentionally trying to do it. And so this is number 4. Build a daily joy practice that doesn't burn you out. Once you begin to notice what brings you back to life, the next step is to practice joy consistently. Now, I want to be clear, this is not one more thing on your to-do list. Think of it, it's so corny, and I'm sorry for it being so corny, but think of it as like a joy menu. Just a simple, no obligation list of the little things that you like to do. And you can choose from this list every day based on how much energy and how much time you have. I just like having the list there in place so you're not wasting time brainstorming. You can just look and say, oh, this one right now, right? So you invest 3-4 minutes on it now. You can do that on your commute. You can do it while you're in the shower. You can think up the ideas, stick it in your smartphone, and then it's always there for you. The goal is that you don't perform joy. The goal is that you have opportunities to experience joy. So your joy menu might include 5 minutes of movement with your favorite playlist. It might include stepping outside to watch the clouds. Those glimmers that I talked about a few minutes ago, those glimmers are great things to put on your joy list. Maybe on your joy list, you want to read a few pages of a novel that feels like an escape, right? This isn't for work. This isn't you should. This is you get to. Maybe it's journaling a few sentences about what felt good today, what you enjoyed about the day. You chronicle a win that you had for the day. Maybe it's spending some time weeding in the garden. That is not a glimmer for me. That is most definitely a chore, but there are people who love it, right? The point is, whatever is on your list, or not chores, they're anchors. Weeding the garden would not be on my joy list. But if it brings you joy, put it on yours. That's the point. They're the things that bring you joy. You don't have to do them all. You just pick when you've got a moment or when you feel that the negativity is taking over. This is your anchor. You say, okay, I'm going to pick one right now. And I'm going to do it right now. And then you just do it. And then tomorrow, I'm going to pick one right now. I'm going to do it right now. I got 30 minutes for lunch. I'm going to do it in my lunch break. I'm going to do it during my commute. I'm going to do it before I leave for work. Whatever. You find the time, you habit stack it. Over time, it's the accumulation of the work. It's the compound interest of the joy. Over time, the small joys begin to rewire your brain. They regulate your nervous system. They rebuild your capacity. That is how to find joy without overwhelming yourself. It is literally one moment at a time. And so, my friends, I'm going to leave you with this. You deserve to feel good. You deserve to experience joy every single day. You do not have to earn your way into joy. You're allowed to feel good, even if you're still tired, even if you're unsure, even if you're healing, even if your circumstances are difficult. So, if today feels heavy, ask yourself, what is one small thing I can do to choose joy? Not for anyone else, just for you. And if I may make a suggestion, for today, let that one thing that brings you joy be making your joy menu. Because you're just going to spend 5 minutes and you're just going to write down all the things you love. And just thinking about all those things that you love doing will bring you joy. So step 1, right? Just get the early win. And then that list is there for tomorrow. Because, my friend, finding your joy is not a luxury. It's a lifeline. And it is not something you have to do alone. If you are ready to find more joy, if you would like to lock in and really anchor in joy and tell your brain that you want more of it, I would love to invite you to join the Women Lead Well community over on Facebook. In it, I share additional leadership tips and encouragement every week, and we work together as a community to build each other up and help each other grow. It is a strong signal to your reticular activating system that you are supported and committed to your growth as a leader. I'll leave a link in the show notes below for you. And if this episode spoke to you, I would love for you to share it with a friend who's running on empty. We need more women leading from alignment, not adrenaline. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps a small little podcast like mine be shown to other people who maybe don't know about it yet. Next week, we're talking about navigating the messy middle, what to do when you feel stuck. So you won't want to miss that one. You can also grab our free resources like the values clarification exercise at womenleadwell.net and linked in the show notes below. Remember, joyful, sustainable, and authentic leadership is possible, and you deserve to enjoy every minute of it. Until next time, I'm Becky Ham, and this is Joyfully Unstoppable.